desperate battle south of Adelaide as firefighters defend the Kaipo pine forest. Petrol tipped to rise more than 6 cents a litre in the next 3 weeks. And local hero Stuart O'Grady grabs the lead in the Tour Down Under. Good evening. Also tonight, Leighton Hewitt against Tommy Haas at the Australian Open. We'll bring you the highlights in sport.
But first, the fire threatening Kaipo Forest. Spot fires broke out on the fringes of the pine forest this afternoon. Scores of volunteer firefighters moved in, backed by water-bombing aircraft. The outbreaks followed yesterday's fire at Rapid Bay. Now, that one is contained, but the CFS fears that strengthening winds could restart it.
Fire crews rushed to Kaipo Forest, their desperate efforts hindered by the strong winds that continued to sweep the blaze across heavily wooded terrain. A huge pall of smoke stretched across the horizon for several kilometres, terrifying nearby residents who feared the fire was heading their way. 150 firefighters battled the blaze. 3 water bomber aircraft were also called in. It was contained a short time ago, but the Country Fire Service fears any sudden wind change could cause another flare-up. It's another sign the fire season is on in earnest. A blaze at Rapid Bay late yesterday destroyed 600 hectares of grasslands. Just when CFS crews thought they'd controlled it, there was a gusty wind change. The local electricity substation was the most spectacular casualty. That cut power to local homes and businesses.
We hit our main power transformer in the quarry, which has now put us right out. And it's a major power transformer.
For the town.
Which will take probably days to restore.
The greatest fear was whether the blaze would take hold inside township limits. That sparked the decision to fly in 3 fire bombers. But that was easier said than done.
It's very hard yesterday with the wind speed. The smoke stayed very low to the ground. It didn't rise rapidly to give us an overall clear view. So we had to, at certain stages, go very low.
The fire is still not out. It's expected to burn sporadically for several days, and firefighters say strong winds could ignite the drama all over again. Jessica Rich, National 9 News.
And the fire saw Kangaroo Island plunged into darkness overnight. Vital power lines supplying the island's electricity were destroyed in the blaze. Today, islanders wanted to know what had happened to their backup generators.
It was like a step back in time for tourists landing on Kangaroo Island in this post-war DC3, greeted by a vintage bus and a town without power. A bushfire near Rapid Bay damaged vital power lines to the island just after 5 last night. And despite reassurances that power would be restored within 2 hours, many were still left waiting by lunchtime today.
All the businesses here in Kingscote rely on our tourist trade here. We just had to shut up and go home. We couldn't do a thing.
Power to Kingscote was restored just before midnight, but residents in smaller towns like Penneshaw were forced to throw away food and close their businesses as the waiting continued. And adding fuel to the fire, locals want to know why the island's emergency generators weren't used during the blackout. When that question was put to power giant AGL, a spokeswoman said these generators were used, but speak to locals and they say that's not the case.
I think it's a question that the council will probably be asking of ETSA. It certainly in the past has supplied emergency power to the township.
Pub owner Chris Struman battled on, serving nearly 300 meals by candlelight.
We asked if they were going to put the generator on, and they said, well, by the time we got down to put the generator on and got it fired up, the power would be back on anyhow.
Late today, some areas of the island were still suffering blackouts. Adam Thompson, National 9 News.
A decision by OPEC to cut oil production is expected to force petrol prices in Australia up by more than 6 cents a litre. And the federal government will put its hand out as well with a planned fuel tax that will add another 2 cents.
For motorists, it had been a much appreciated Christmas gift. In November and December, pump prices nosedived to around 80 cents a litre. The holiday bonus is to be short-lived. A meeting of OPEC leaders overnight decided to cut oil production. The Motor Traders Association says the impact will be almost immediate.
We could see an increase in the world price of oil, which could lead to 3 and maybe 4 cents a litre additional costs at the pump within 7 days.
And motorists are also reminded about the federal government's fuel tax increase. That comes into plan next month. The fuel tax indexed increase is expected to add another 2 cents a litre to the price, which could mean an overall increase of nearly 10 cents by the end of February. Further cuts in oil output are expected. OPEC members have indicated they could come as early as March. Xavier Minicon, National 9 News.
There's been a bitter reaction to the news that Telstra is overhauling its charges. Included is an increase in the rental on phone lines. The big winners are internet users, but that's angered pensioners who claim they're being further disadvantaged.
The consumer reaction to the new charges was swift and angry. The particular sore point, the increase in monthly line rental rates.
Most customers are going to be worse off because of this.
Depending on the plan used by customers, their rental fee will rise by up to $2.26. Telstra, though, maintains it's merely recouping money spent on the lines. The federal government today backing the carrier.
It's part of the rebalancing, and it's got to be offset by reductions which have already occurred in part and which will hopefully continue.
Among those reductions, lowering the cost of calls made within a customer's neighbourhood.
Even with these changes, customers on average are better off with us now than they were 2 years ago.
One certain winner, Telstra's online customers. They'll pay a reduced line rental rate of several dollars. But if they still want to be sent a bill, they'll have to pay $3.30 for the privilege.
But Telstra isn't the only company offering cheaper deals for online customers. Banks, for example, give financial savings to internet users. And it's this growing trend that has consumer groups worried.
The internet savvy are a new class of winners, if you like, in this game.
And that means those who can't access the net, can't afford it, or simply don't understand it, sometimes end up paying more.
It's that widening gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Nina Stevens, National 9 News.
A member of the Gypsy Jokers motorcycle gang has appeared in court over the confrontation with police earlier this month that left 3 officers in hospital. 34-year-old Stephen Charles Williams is charged with assaulting police at Beachport near Mount Gambier on the 2nd of January. 3 members of the Police Star Division were hurt after approaching members of the gang at a local hotel. The incident prompted police to launch a massive crackdown on the gang. Williams is also charged with escaping custody. He's indicated that he'll plead not guilty to all charges. He's due to reappear in court on March the 2nd.
Britain's Kilshaw family is digging in for a battle over those twin 6-month-old girls who were stolen from their original adoptive parents in the United States. Not only are the Kilshaws facing a legal challenge from the American couple, they're also under fire at home. The government has condemned their use of unscrupulous internet baby traders.
In Britain, Alan and Judith Kilshaw have the twin girls and say they won't be giving them up.
That we had sympathy, but it wasn't our fault the birth mother had changed her mind.
These appearances on American television shows are now the only opportunity for the heartbroken Allen family in California to see the children they adopted, only to have them stolen away 2 months later by the twins' natural mother and sold to the Kilshaws.
They were American-born, they belong in our family, and they should be returned.
The British couple shouldn't expect any support from their Prime Minister, who is embarrassed the twins are now in his country.
I think that everyone feels that it is absolutely deplorable that children are traded in this way, and adoption should always be about the interests of the child first.
The only way the American family can retrieve the girls is to win a case in a British court. But the Kilshaws say they haven't broken the law, which is true, and they won't be handing the children back.
If you had told the police that you had given them money, they would not have allowed this to go down.
The British couple have been criticised in the papers too for taking the 6-month-old twins into their farmhouse, which was reported to be dirty and unkempt. Mrs. Kilshaw made this cynical reply to her growing number of critics.
Get a duster and get a good hoover and go through the house. Last comment, not doing any more fun.
Robert Penfold, National 9 News.
If the British newspapers are to believe, the farmhouse is overrun with cats and dogs.
Shocking story,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Story. After the break, how doctors are working towards a major medical breakthrough. They're aiming at being able to repair a severed spinal cord.
And a dramatic moment for politicians in California as a truck driver went berserk, ramming the Capitol building.
Neil Ottison First National will auction this very neat 2-bedroom cottage at Eliza Street, Southend, Saturday 20th of January at 10 a.m. Set on a corner block close to the beach with double car shed. A perfect beach home at an affordable price. Contact Neil Ottison First National.
Barry Mack, your locally owned
Retrovision Store.
Miele washing machines are specifically designed to produce superior wash results with a minimum amount of water, detergent and electricity. And if you're looking for a dishwasher equipped with a completely redesigned heating system, a solid cabinet door front, built-in water softener and whisper quiet operation, choose Miele, because anything else is a compromise.
Barry Mac Retrovision, where top brands cost less.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nissan 2000 clearance. We're here to sell this Nissan ST Patrol wagon. With a powerful 4.2-litre turbo diesel engine, this Patrol is going whatever your location. Now, am I going to hear air conditioning? Yes? 7 seats. 7 seats. Do I hear a CD player? I do. And here's a special offer going for a limited time with bull bar, driving lights and tow bar worth over $2,000. It's going at $52,990. It's going. All quiet. It's going, gone in the Nissan 2000 clearance.
Creamy.
Ham and salad sandwiches.
How does she do it?
P-R-A-I-S-E.
Every meal deserves praise.
Swimming is so cool at a swim Australia school. It's a master stroke to swim, cause you're learning what you order. It's our Aussie way of life. We love our fun and sun and water. You can paddle, you can float, you can kick and you can dive. It's fun when you're safe. Swimming makes you feel alive. Make a splash, take the plunge, dive right in and learn to swim. Cause swimming is so cool at a swim Australia school.
8:30 Friday.
3 women on the road. It isn't pretty, it's beautiful.
You missed it? What?
Boys on the side.
8:30 Friday on Win SA.
The news tonight presented by Neil Otteson First National Real Estate, Narracourt, Penola, Robe, Edenhope and Millicent.
This is National 9 News. Parts of northern New South Wales have been declared natural disaster areas after wild storms lashed the coast from Brisbane to Wollongong overnight. The Gold Coast was battered by hailstones for about half an hour, and the storm caused havoc through Brisbane's Bayside, where a 22-year-old man was killed after touching fallen power lines. The New South Wales town of Casino, though, bore the brunt of the fury, with 100-kilometre-an-hour winds ripping off roofs and cutting telephone services. More than 20 people were injured, with damage estimated in the millions of dollars.
The change of power in Washington could bring changes for Australia's regional security. America's incoming Secretary of State, Colin Powell, has praised Australia's defence role, and that's been seen as a hint that we'll be expected to take on extra responsibility as a regional policeman.
Our relationship with Indonesia has been turbulent over the past 25 years, but our role in last year's UN peacekeeping force in East Timor has not gone unnoticed in Washington. The US now looking to Australia to continue a vital role in the region.
We will coordinate our policies, but let our ally Australia take the lead, as they have done so well in that troubled country.
I think we'll have a very good and a very close working relationship with the new United States administration.
The former four-star general, who's set to become America's first black Secretary of State, says the United States is pleased Australia has played a keen interest in what's been happening to our north.
Our relations with this hugely important country need careful attention.
But analysts are reading the comments with caution, pointing out there's still work to be done to restore stability and trust to our bilateral ties.
It's also a wake-up call to us, I think, to pay a little more attention to this crucial relationship.
The government has been quick to point out there may still be differences of opinion on Indonesia, but the significance of the comments by such a senior member of the Bush administration has not been ignored.
It shows we're very much on the radar screen of the incoming US administration.
Nigel Blunden, National 9 News.
There's been a bizarre and spectacular attack on California's state capitol building. A man with a grudge against the state governor rammed his truck at high speed right into the front of the building. Members of the assembly were meeting inside. No one was hurt. The driver, though, was killed when his truck exploded in a fireball. It was carrying a load of powdered milk. Witnesses say he'd circled the block several times to pick up speed before making his suicide charge. Police say the man had a long criminal record and that he'd been sending threatening letters to the governor.
For years, medical science has been trying to find a way to repair severed spinal cords. Well, that search may be over. American scientists believe they've worked out a way to get nerve cells to regrow, and they're developing a drug to help them do it.
16-year-old Gemma Quinn is one of thousands worldwide with a spinal cord injury who welcome news of medical progress.
Every day that I wake up and think, yeah, there's going to be a cure, and that helps.
Now work on mice at Yale University in America points to a key to unlocking the nerve blockage. After an accident, the damaged nerve fibres or axons don't regenerate in the spinal cord. Messages from the brain can't get through to other parts of the body. This is because the insulation around the axon produces a chemical called no-go, which appears to stop that process. But the American scientists say they've isolated that chemical and could stop it working, allowing the nerves to redevelop and reconnect the damaged spine. Then information signals from the brain could theoretically move freely to paralysed parts of the body. Doctors hope this research, reported in this week's Nature journal, is the next step in developing a drug to regenerate damaged nerves.
It's quite clear we are going to produce some treatment that will be beneficial to people with spinal cord injury before too long, but we're certainly not going to have a complete cure.
It's a small but major step. Developing a medication that is slightly effective could eventually lead to drugs that are even more beneficial for spinal injury. Cheryl Taylor, National 9 News.
The old Cliff Richard ditty tells us to beware the devil woman. Well, it seems cycling's Tour Down Under has its very own pitchfork-wielding lady who's giving riders and spectators one hell of a fright.
Just as their legs turn to jelly, as sucking in air becomes a struggle, the Tour Down Under tackles Heartbreak Hill. Today it's Selix, and after one hell of a climb, a vision. Yes, you saw correctly, meet the Tour Down Under's own devil woman. When she's not wielding a pitchfork, she's a school teacher.
The cyclists, as they come by, they're so surprised, and I've even had cyclists swerving towards me.
This she-devil has lined each Tour Down Under route and even seen a Tour de France.
We've now got an international event and we need an international icon, and so I thought I'd bring the devil to Australia.
Her own following includes those even more famous, like Olympic gold medalist Kathy Watt. She's not the only one caught up in this two-wheeled whirlwind.
Bought the bike today, so I'll go out today and have a bit of a ride somewhere.
I'm from Melbourne, and first time I've come over for the tour. It's as good as anything overseas.
It seems the whole state are now cycling converts. Here at Victor Harbour, they've been queuing for hours and anticipating for a year. In the blink of an eye, it's over. The bandwagon rolls on to the next point, all except for Vin Pistola and Ursula Parfillo, who are still having one devil at a time at Selix Hill.
Unfortunately waiting for the RAA because we locked our keys in our car.
But their enthusiasm for the tour hasn't waned, although next year you can bet it's by pedal power. Vicky Schwartz, National 9 News.
I'm sure they've got the car going. Another big effort from the local hero, Kim.
Yes, he pleased the crowds once again, Rob. No doubt about that. Hello, everyone. After the break, the man we're talking about, Stuart O'Grady, takes the yellow jersey in the Tour Down Under. Leighton Hewitt powers through to the third round of the Australian Open. And Brian Lara back to his brilliant best at the SCG.
It's stock take sale at Radio Rentals. This package is normally great value at $5.98. At $4.99, you'll save $99. Personal shopping only for this sensational special. Radio Rentals, they know stock take.
The Red Spot sale is Woolworth's biggest grocery sale, with hundreds of huge savings, like a 24-pack of Coke varieties, $15.99, save $2.27. 2-litre refrigerated daily juice range, $2.98 each, save 65 cents. And 150-gram Nescafe Blend 43, $4.99, save $1. Stock up and save on Red Spot specials and look for more low prices in Woolworth's Red Spot sale catalogue. Out now.
Got One surf fishing sale with Jarvis Walker 13-foot surf rod combo plus bonus line low $159.95. Check out the great prices on these 12-foot surf rod combos and 15% off Jarvis Walker sunglasses. Get it at Got One, Commercial Street East, Mount Gambier.
See this man at this location.
for all your radiator repairs, including recourse for trucks and cars. They'll even recondition your tractor and irrigation radiator, supplying and fitting polished aluminium kitchen pull bars and roo bars for cars, trucks and four-wheel drives, as well as aluminium trays and Allen tow bars for most makes and models. For the quickest service in town, see the independent radiator experts in the southeast, Gambia Radiator Service. They'll have you back on the road in no time.
It's stock take sale at Radio Rentals. This fridge is normally great value at $5.69. At a fantastic $4.99, you'll save $70. Personal shopping only for this sensational special. Radio Rentals, they know stock take.
On a current affair, Peter Brock's road toll remedy.
I'd go with education rather than legislation.
Scrap shock ads and tell drivers what they need to know.
Just teach them some of the basics. Driving can be fun, and it is fun if you get it right.
Tonight's Sports Spot, proudly brought to you by Gateway Martyn Home and Trade. It's not just their low prices, it's the right advice that really saves you money.
Yeah, it's not bad.
To tennis first, and Lleyton Hewitt has produced another courageous performance at the Australian Open, this time against Germany's Tommy Haas. Australian teenager Evie Dominikovic advanced, while our top-ranked female Nicole Pratt went down to Amelie Mauresmo. But it was Hewitt once again who provided the heroics.
Their caps are going backwards, as was Hewitt's tennis, winning just 1 point in the first 3 games against a fired-up Haas. The Australian was as flat as the surface he was playing on, yet there was no panic as he came back from 5-love down.
And capitulation by Haas.
But Hewitt remained way below his best, and Haas got away to another flyer in the second, leading 3-love. Despite his indifferent form and being subdued, Hewitt hung in to force a tiebreak against the fragile German. The pump had cut in, and Hewitt lined up for the second of 2 set points. The Aussie was bubbling. Haas was anything but.
That's magnificent.
Earlier, Evie Dominikovic became the last Australian woman remaining at the Open, making it through to the 3rd round by defeating American Holly Parkinson in 3. Venus Williams' well-publicised outfit was marginally more manageable than in the first round. But she struggled with her tennis before defeating fellow American Megan Shaughnessy in straight sets. Ken Sutcliffe, National 9 News.
Well, despite Brian Lara finding some one-day form, Australia's cricketers are confident they can finish the summer undefeated. Chasing Australia's 277 at the SCG last night, Lara's brilliant unbeaten 116 helped the Windies make a match of it before rain stopped play, Australia winning on adjusted scores by 28 runs.
A day off for both teams. The West Indies bunkered down in their Sydney hotel. The Australians arriving in Melbourne ahead of Sunday's game against Zimbabwe, but still talking about last night and that knock by Brian Lara.
Yeah, exciting. Probably great for the spectators to see Lara, playing with flamboyant mood. It was pretty hard to stop.
Shane Warne won the war against the rest of the Windies batting lineup, taking 3 wickets, and although the leg spinner copped some stick from the left-hander, Warne was happy to resume their long-running battle for the first time this summer after his return from injury.
It was good fun bowling to Brian in that sort of form. If you bowl anything loose, you're going to whack it for 4 or 6.
When Lara was on 13, the video umpire adjudicated on this dive by Mark Waugh. With replays inconclusive and the fielder uncertain, the West Indian was given the green light to smash 10 fours and 2 sixes in his 14th one-day 100. Despite Lara's efforts, rain wrecked the Windies' remote chance of victory. Australia declared 28-run winners under the complex Duckworth-Lewis system. This team now within sight of becoming the first to finish the Test and one-day season undefeated.
We're confident. We've got a good momentum up at the moment.
Andrew McKinlay, National 9 News.
South Australian Stuart O'Grady tonight holds the yellow jersey as the leader of the Tour Down Under. O'Grady finished third in today's stage from McLaren Vale to Victor Harbour, the result enough to lift him to first overall. The stage was won by Italian Alessio Galletti.
On the hottest day, the longest stage of the 2001 Tour Down Under, a 165-kilometre trek from McLaren Vale to Victor Harbour. Unfazed by the long road ahead, local rider Steve Cunningham and Italian Alessio Galletti, the pair making their move 9 kilometres in. A strong headwind made the going tough for the demanding ascent over Selleck's Hill. Victorian Robert Tigello retaining his King of the Mountain jersey as best of the climbers. Some were destined never to be competitive, as Galletti and Cunningham continued to set the pace, the Italian winning the first sprint of the day through Maiponga. By the halfway mark, the pair had established an imposing 16-minute gap over O'Grady and the pack. 70 kilometres from home, a brave Galletti attacked, leaving Cunningham in his wake and at the mercy of the peloton. In the process, the Italian took the second of the stage's sprints at Goolwa, his gamble proving anything but, as he held on to claim the stage win, Team Seiko's second in as many days. O'Grady did enough in the dash for minor placings, the local hero's third place rewarded with the coveted yellow jersey, and with 2 stages to go, tour favouritism. Ross Stargett, National 9 News.
They certainly are fit, and Rob, I could just see Kevin going up Selleck's Hill on his old penny farthing.
Oh, give us a break. It wasn't a penny farthing, it was a scooter. Thank you very much, Kevin. Keith next with the weather. While it was a nice day for a relaxing swim, it was a bit tougher if you were trying to keep to a tight schedule.
Drop into Gateway Martyn and check out the new and exciting outdoor living and leisure centre with everything to make your leisure times more relaxing and enjoyable. Outdoor settings in timber, metal, glass, cane and settings for children. Fountains for the office, home and garden. Chairs in all shapes and colours to suit adults and children. There's an extensive range of kettle portable and 3 or 4 burner barbecues with or without hoods. Plus gazebos, sun lounges, beach shades, picnic sets and coolers. Don't delay. See Gateway's new outdoor living and leisure centre.
It's Braithwaite's Country Classics massive clearance. 4 days only. Lounge suites, recliners and sofas, out they go. Beds and bedroom furniture, out they go. Dining suites and all timber furniture, out they go. Rental and interest-free terms available. 4 days only at Braithwaite's Country Classics.
The Philo 99-cent sale is on now.
250-gram Arnott's plain biscuits.
99 cents.
24-pack Coca-Cola cans.
$13.99.
Philo.
Extra value for you.
40,000 bathrooms, 25,000 family rooms, 80,000 patios, 400,000 loos. Yes, 800,000 square metres of tiles must go in Beaumont's biggest ever tile sale. These imported floor tiles are only $14.95 a metre. Wall tiles from just $11.95. These Tuscan floor tiles, $18.95. Plus heritage wall tiles and pattern freezers, only 34 cents each. Every single tile must go. Not just a few to suck you in, but every single tile. Don't miss it. Beaumont Tiles' biggest ever tile sale. Beaumont Tiles.
When a fire goes wild,
Large forest fires in the southeast.
it can destroy the property you love. When a fire goes wild,
Large stock losses are expected as huge grass fires.
it can destroy the animals you love. When a fire goes wild,
Bushfire is raging through the Adelaide Hills.
it can destroy the home, the people, the life you love. When a fire goes wild, prepare yourself for the worst.
Thursday on Win, the setups are outrageous. Darren Hinch sees red with our traffic light scam.
Sir, would you mind stepping out of the car?
Plus jockey Jim Cassidy, Wendy Mooney and the girls from High Five. Surprise, surprise, 7:30 Thursday on Win.
Good evening to you. Well, it certainly turned out to be quite a warm one, and tonight we start with a picture of sunset at Kadina taken by Brian Schultz. And on the subject of heat, you might like to know that once again Lake Eyre is almost dry. 6 months, of course, ago, Lake Eyre was an inland sea, but now suddenly all of that water has just about disappeared. Now, temperature-wise today, Mount Gambier made 24 degrees. Renmark had a top of 31, with Adelaide today having a top of 32.1 degrees at 4:05. The overnight low, a very comfortable 15 degrees, coming at 6:20 this morning. At the moment here, 29.2 degrees, with our barometer quite steady at 1,014.5. Now, looking at the satellite pictures tonight, as you can see, not a lot of cloud in South Australia. And so tomorrow, with mainly clear skies and a nor'easter, it will be hot to very hot, warm around the coast, but elsewhere generally dry and temperatures well above average. As for Saturday, there's a weak change on the way. It'll get in here late morning. That'll produce some cooling during Saturday, and by Sunday, much more comfortable conditions over the settled areas of the state. But then on Monday, that cloud will clear out from that change, and temperatures once again will start to rise. Looking at the surface chart tonight, you'll see as the high goes by, winds tomorrow will be mainly light to moderate east to northeasterly, dragging this hot air in from the Maori region, so temperatures tomorrow will rise. But there's a change in here you can see moving up through that drop line there. That'll come in here, waft in early on Saturday. It'll take a while to cool down on Saturday afternoon, but winds will pick up on Saturday afternoon, and Sunday should be much more pleasant. Now, if you're going to stay tomorrow, storms are likely in Cairns, showers in Townsville. 1 or 2 showers are likely in Sydney and in Brisbane, with storms also likely in Darwin and in Broome. Now, at home today, 19 degrees only at Hindmarsh Island, went to 46 degrees up at Oodnadatta, and for the second consecutive day, 47 degrees at Birdsville. Not quite as hot as Maori today, only 42, but Maori has now had 18 consecutive days of 40 degrees or above. The overnight lows last night dropping down to 9 degrees at Strathalbyn, but for tomorrow it will be dry again, warm around the southern coast, but basically hot to very hot elsewhere. Light to moderate east and northeasterly winds with a weak sea breeze. Seas tomorrow anywhere between 0.5 and up to 1.5 metres high on the west coast with a sea breeze. Now, in terms of the ultraviolet radiation levels, again, they will be extreme, and there will be total fire bans tomorrow in the northeast, northwest pastoral, eastern Eyre Peninsula and west coast and districts. The pollen count tomorrow around 85. Now, temperatures will leap tomorrow. Mount Gambier going up 10 degrees to 34, 39 at Clare. Ceduna tomorrow, 43 degrees elsewhere. We're looking at Newryup 38, 41 at Pirrie, Renmark 40, 42 Roxby Downs, Victor Harbour 31. For local waters, north-east to northeasterly winds of 10 to 15 knots, the opposing sea breeze of 5 to 10 knots, seas to 0.5 metre high. Adelaide, nice night for sleeping. Tomorrow, very hot, 39 here, and Elizabeth, 35 Mount Barker, Noongar 37. Change in on Saturday, holding our temperature around about 33. Quite a pleasant day on Sunday, around 29. Heating up on Monday. The outlook for Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Hot to very hot at first, but there will be a change on the way. Kevin and Rob.
Thanks, Keith. Before we go tonight, let's find out how marathon swimmer Tammy Van Wisser is getting along. And the short answer is, very nicely, thank you. Today she left Renmark to the plaudits of riverbank spectators.
This is day 75 of her epic swim to raise awareness of salinity levels in the Murray. She's still got 25 days to go.
She averages around 30 kilometres a day, would you believe? I couldn't do that on my penny farthing.
Or the scooter.
Or the scooter. That's our bulletin. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we'll see you again tomorrow at 6, but right now here's a current affair.